Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, also published on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and the such, I usually go about on Twitter X. Um, Friday, I did manage to publish Karma the Dark World demo gameplay. I do apologize in advance if you didn't watch it yet. Got some issues given that I think it's Unreal Engine 5 and the software recording. I don't know if there was something that missed me, but there was some stuttering here and there. I tried to on the fly try to remediate the situation, but at least it gives us, given that it's a demo, I hope that the game itself is a little bit more performant than the demo itself, but at least gives a good idea what this game is trying to be, which is very interesting. I'm very interested in this game, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes in terms of performance. Still need to check any kind of reviews out there. I didn't see basically any reviews, at least to my memory. But today we're going to have the continuation of Jussan gameplay series. I did enjoy pretty much Jussan. And already recorded another demo gameplay. I completely forgot what the demo for the what game it was, but probably I will do it Friday also. I think as long as I have demos to play around and check if they are good or not, I will probably just slot it in and replace from a episode from a gameplay series. Again, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays usually are going to be when I have gameplay series running. I will do it like that. But yeah, other than that, we got complete gameplay series, 1080p, the older ones before the hiatus of moving out of the country, and then the 4K complete gameplay series that are the most recent ones with my current system at this moment in time. But yeah, let's go to the news. Today is Monday, not much happening, but some interesting stuff here and there caught my attention. Um, we got the continuation of RTX, at least for the moment, Blackwell GPU, so the 5000 series, getting some issues. And this time, interestingly enough, was a 5070 non-TI version of the GPU that the cable itself was burnt. The user itself did some pictures here. Interesting here on this connector. The pin is didn't sit it there. Again, I'm not sure what happened there. I will have to assume probably was because I'm not sure if this is a ground or a power pin. But yeah, it's something that it's interesting by itself, given that again, these GPUs don't have any kind of power monitoring. It seems, I guess, only some ASUS GPUs have this kind of like the top end 5090s GPUs from ASUS as this kind of power monitoring. I covered that Friday, I think. That there was the Astral and another version of the ASUS that have kind of at least software capabilities of reading the power delivery on the connector itself. But yeah, this is very interesting. The fact that it occurred here basically was the cable. The connector themselves are not damaged, except for this little pin here of the connectors of the GPU side of things here. And again, I don't know if it is a power or a ground circuit part of the delivery there. The PSU is ATX 3.1, so compatible with the new, and includes the new 2 by 6, again 12-watt power pin stuff there. Yeah, very interesting. Again, we only have this couple of pictures and the situation of having a cable melted, which is by itself very awkward. How this can be happening by the fact that there is no, I don't know, backup system of some sort to, I don't know, detect certain things, because it's possible in the at least on the GPU side of things to have this kind of extra features to be implemented, given that already the NVIDIA cards are expensive like shit. But yeah, we got another situation, and this time it's a very low power demanding GPU, which is very interesting. And continuing with NVIDIA, we got another 5090. This time is not the connector side of things. This is a damaged capacitor. just after 1 month of use. Again, um, it seems that really NVIDIA did, in terms of quality control, did let everything to, I don't know, monkeys, I don't know, because this is not good, especially having a capacitor just damaged. Again, there is some picture of it, of a capacity popped. And interestingly enough, again, the user only noticed this because there was some coil whine kind of a noise. At least that's the noise as the user described. I'm not sure if there is video of that noise. Again, I found it very weird having coil one with a capacitor off. Again, must be, I assume. Again, I'm not an engineer, but I assume maybe it's kind of a backup system that has this kind of capacitor, and the fact that the GPU supposedly can operate normally. The only thing that it does is this noise. It's very interesting. I assume it's not the main thing that it's at this moment in time necessary to operate the GPU itself. Again, which is very interesting. But yeah, this is again, it's very weird. And the interesting thing is the fact that it's just a couple of weeks or a month or so. Everybody start noticing here and there some issues. Again, we've been seeing less issues with 5090s than the 4090s. And again, it's the fact that there is not a lot of stock of 5090s. Again, at the time that it was launched, the 4090 was really an impressive GPU, even though it's extremely expensive. But there was a lot of stock around in the wild in users, and that's why we saw a huge ramp up. And it still has a lot of issues. The 4090s. Again, I continue to see here and there, usually repair shops that have YouTube channels. They continue to report that at least a handful of connector replacements on 4090s are still happening, which is not good, given that, again, this thing could be avoided completely with that, again, a module that balances the power that the GPU demands from the PSU. Something that was implemented at the time with when it came out, the 3090 Ti, which is something that they removed. Again, I will assume that they're trying to circumvent the cost of having a small thing that balances the power on the GPU itself, and they came up with this kind of connector to try and eliminate certain costs. Because again, it's the only way I can see this is cost association regarding this kind of things, which is, instead of having three 8 power pins or four 8 power pins, they just have everything put together in just one connector. Saves money. It's, instead of four, it's one in this kind of high end, and they save money also by not do having kind of a power balancing module in the GPU itself. And they continue to sell these cards at $2,000 at least. Again, it only makes sense for them to try to save money on production side, and getting the extra money that they can get out of these GPUs. This is the only way that I can justify this, at least from their point of view. And the fact that also that they are trying to save money on quality control, given that since the 5000 series got the issues from black screen stuff there, the missing ROP from all the lineups, at least that I can remember. So 5090, 5080, the 5070 Ti, and I think also 5070. I think there was some couple of GPUs that were missing ROPs, supposedly. Then we got the continuation on the at least 5090s, at least a handful of cases that the connectors were melting, and also the cables were swelling in other instances. Again, it's not a good look. And the fact also in terms of the software itself, again, with the black screens and I think it has to do something with HDMI and DisplayPort compatibility issues with certain things, especially multi-monitor setup, but also out of nowhere, just black screens. Again, it's a shit show, and to a certain degree, it's also affecting people that already have older GPUs, because of they focus so much trying to solve the issues on the new. GPUs that the older GPUs started to get the same kind of issues that the newer GPUs had, and we got also I covered the fact that even some developers did recommend in some cases if you have a non 50 series to roll back the drivers to I think a version of the NVIDIA app driver of December last year, something like that, that was more stable for all the GPUs. Again, not a good look. And still, people, again, I think it's not the mind share to a certain degree that people still think that NVIDIA is the best way to go. But yeah, for me, I just think when you buy a product, you have to take into account the competition, what they are offering, at what price, and in this case of GPUs, what kind of technology they can offer. Again, AMD, the 9070 XT, at least the recommendation still from the majority of people, if it's found around the MSRP pricing, it's a pretty good option. I think AMD needs to push a little bit more the adoption of FSR4 in at least the newer games. So more games can support this, given that supposedly if the games already have implemented FSR 3.1, it's just a matter of doing everything in the driver side of things. I think it can be adopted immediately through the driver side of things. But yeah, but you need to have 9000 series from AMD because FSR4 in terms of technology is pretty good. It's supposedly between the DLSS, the CNN model. So it's a little bit higher quality than CNN model of DLSS and almost in line in terms of quality with the new transformer model from NVIDIA. So it's kind of in between. So it's a huge improvement there. But in terms of raw performance itself, it does pretty good also. But yeah, it's a matter of pricing, and I think to a certain degree, I think we're seeing a little bit of market share. I think especially on Japan. Germany also had an uptick in terms of market share from Nvidia, but they always been more preferable or more people in Germany. I think it's more about the pricing. They were always more preferable to AMD GPUs than the rest of the markets in that way. But yeah, we've been seeing a little bit of taking over of AMD, which is good because hopefully it will pressure Nvidia, and hopefully with Intel, with all the things that they're also been facing with the Pat Gelsinger getting out and the CPU side of things, and even the fab stuff there that they had. Supposedly by the end of this year they will start getting their shit together, and hopefully that will also be reflective of launching. I don't know. I think we need to see still the higher hand of the battle-made GPUs. I think, but at least maybe in the next generation they can deliver something that can compete with both AMD and NVIDIA. We'll see. But yeah, regarding hardware, we only have one more stuff here. Interestingly enough, PS5 they increased prices. This goes for Europe, Middle East, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. The interesting thing is they reduced the disk drive, the attachment that you can plug in into your PS5. They reduced the price there. But yeah, interestingly enough, mainly the increases were for the digital edition of the PS5, which I think it's the diskless, the diskless edition. With the exception on Australia and New Zealand, they increased a little bit, basically $100, given it if it is Australian or New Zealand dollars. On that disc PlayStation 5. But yeah, the main thing here is the PlayStation Digital Edition on United Kingdom and Europe. They creep up the price 50 euros and I think 50 pounds also, which is very interesting. They already did some price increases, especially on Japan, like $80 or so. I think we have here, no, not in this article. But yeah, they already at least on Japan they increased like $80 the price of the PlayStation. Again, this basically, I think, reflects that at the end, it's always going to be the consumer that is going to pay for the failures of, in this case, of Sony, at least on the gaming side of things. Don't forget that Concord supposedly had a loss of $500 million. They have to get around and get that, recoup that lost in development somewhere somehow, and I think we've been seeing this on trying for them to recoup some of those things and in the hardware side of things. And I will assume that we're going to see also, I don't know, PlayStation Plus memberships going to increase. I don't know, but yeah, this is kind of the consumer paying for the mistakes of PlayStation or Sony Entertainment, whatever they are called there. But yeah, this is very interesting. And continuing with interesting things, we got a marathon announcement. Again, I didn't watch this. Usually, this kind of games is not made for me. Extraction shooters, multiplayer shooter games like Call of Duties and the such, or even the Division, in terms of at least the multiplayer side stuff. It's not usual for me. I never was that much into this kind of games. But I did notice that there is a lot of comparisons to Concord, given that Bungie is part of Sony. But I think the main comparison here is the fact that the business model they are trying to impose is very similar to Concord, which is this game is not going to be um, a free-to-play game with being monetized through microtransactions and season passes and battle passes or whatever they usually do there in this kind of games. This is going to have like a premium price to just access to the game there, and then of course you have the extra charge of everything in terms of content, and I don't know what kind of monetization scheme they are about here. But yeah, uh, I don't think this is going to get very well, given that they're trying to compete on a market that the entry point is free to play. Let's say from Marvel Rivals, which is hotcakes now, and other games that from extraction shooters that are free to play, and then they try to get their money through microtransactions. And I did watch here some of these gameplays here, except for the showcases here. It doesn't bother. I didn't bother to watch that. But yeah, these three trailers that I watched, again, a little bit blendy. This IP seems to be very relatively old. One of the first IPs that at the time Bungie was trying to launch a game with, but then I think they went for another game. I don't remember which one. Maybe they were. I think they start working on Call of Duties because it's what they did for the time, if not mistaken. And then we got the other game that I completely forgot that has two games, Destiny, I think. Again, yeah, this game seems pretentious in the sense that all the try to be very philosophical. It's kind of trying to mix between Kojima direction in terms of the trailer itself with I don't know this fast cutting on editing. It's so annoying by itself, and the little pretentiousness that they're trying to go about, because again, this is a extraction shooter. This is not trying to tell a story or trying to tackle some themes here, at least deep themes, at least with what it seems to me. And the pretentiousness of this, I think, comes more about the quotes here for the guy that did the trailers, if not mistaken, which is, he said, when I first read about Marathon's universe and characters, I found everything strangely poetic and mysterious. Okay, the concepts of fertility and endurance immediately came to mind, and I felt an urgent need to write about it. Seeing the game team super bold in fire but artwork created an instant connection, and it's all deeply inspiring and thought provoking. Again, the color scheme is very 80s, let's say. A lot of this puke green and the violets and again, very weird. But yeah, it screams a lot of I don't know. It seems a little bit bland. the thing that interested me more on the trailers was the world building that they were trying to do, but it didn't go too much into that. Supposedly, it's going to be an overarching arc there to try and figure out what happened in that disaster that supposedly happened on this colony here. But again, I didn't see a huge connection between what you are as a runner and what's the connection there on the world. Again, because supposedly you're just a scrapper, just looking for resources. There is not like a promise of a big booty in the middle of anything. Again, they didn't tell on the trailers anything like that. You become a runner because you want to find like a, I don't know, a big treasure. There is seems to be not a lot of incentives here in terms story wise to trying to entice players to look for this. And the fact that you are a runner, it gives me the impression that you're again, I don't know how they explain the fact that you die can respawn. Again, doing the runs. Again, it's a little bit weird. Again, a little bit all over the place and try to be pretentious. And one of the interesting things here is the fact that they going to launch without voice chat or proximity voice chat, which because they want to create a safe space. Again, I don't know what to tell you there. In terms of multiplayer stuff, there the again all the proximity voice chat and even voice chat functions that usually come in these games, they have a mute option, so you can mute it. I don't know what's the issue there. But yeah, this game I don't think is going to do that good. But we'll have to wait and see. Given there's going to be a closed beta or alpha test still. Supposedly this game will launch September 23rd. We'll see how that goes for Sony and for Bungie. And lastly, we got Kojima. We got a little bit more details here on Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I think no, the situation is not in the article here, but it seems that for the bosses, there's going to be like a feature. It's optional, from what I understand, which is better than nothing. That supposedly, if you die on the first on the first try of the boss, you can just skip the defeating the boss part and continue with the cutscene after supposedly you defeat the boss, kind of a story mode kind of a thing there. I'm not sure how much requested this was, given that usually this media and supposed journalists have a lot of difficulties with skill checks and all that jazz. And everybody is praising this approach here. But again, as long as it is optional, and if you like to, I don't know, restart the boss fight and all that jazz, I think again it's passable in my point from my point of view. Um, Again, I don't remember if that Stranding one. I think I did a boss fight um, when you first utilize the grenades, the peace grenades and blood grenades and stuff like that. I think I have a boss fight. Again, they are not very difficult, but at least from what I played and remember from Death Stranding 1. But yeah, and also the fact that the game is almost finished, is not cold yet, even though supposedly it's going to launch on June this year. Again, it at the time being, I think it's going to be time exclusive for PlayStation 5. But yeah, Kojima is doing kind of a podcast series, which is Koji 10 or something like that. I'm not sure if the 10 here is the fact that it was regarding the approach on how completed the game is. Kojima says probably around 95%. I think from X the is checking Japanese voiceover stuff there, but I think he's cooking the game still in refinements, and he is very well known for being a perfectionist. But yeah, supposedly, if comparing it, the game as a 24-hour cycle day, the game supposedly it's 10 p.m., so around about 90 to 95%. But yeah, hopefully you will get. I stopped watching because I don't want to get spoiled, mainly because of mainly spoilers from the first game. That's why I'm not seeing a lot of Death Stranding trailers and the such, because I want to avoid any kind of spoilers that might pertain to Dead Stranding 1. And again, Dead Stranding 1, it's one of the games that I really want to approach and do some live streams and restart that game from scratch, given that I bought for Steam. I had it claimed for free on Epic Game Store, but I bought it for Steam for on the deal there. But yeah, interesting stuff here from Kojima also. But yeah, not much else happening at least that caught my attention. So let's go for the good part, which is gaming deals. We still have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy 85% off. Again, very positive feedback. It's one of those. I'm still tricking around to see if I can get a good settings for recording and probably starting doing gaming series on this one. I'm very interested mainly because again good feedback and I claim it for free on Epic Game Store. We got Children of Morta. I think the isometric roguelike kind of a game here. Very positive feedback. It doesn't have a demo, unfortunately, but again, 80% off. It seems a pretty good game from what I've seen, so it's one of those. We got also Red Dead Redemption 2 is still on sale, 75% off on the base game. We got Journey, again, stamp of approval for my part. It's a very interesting experience, very in line from the games that I've been doing lately, which is Planet of Lana and Jusant. It's kind of a tell the story through visual. There is no dialogue, so it's very interesting. And I did play this when it came out, or roundabouts on PlayStation 3, if not mistaken. I played on a PlayStation from a friend. It's a quick game per se, and it's very good, especially at this price point. We got still Pacific Drive, 40% off. Again, it's one of those that I will eventually go dive in there. We got Stray, you play as a cat. What else can you say? It's 40% off. Nobody Wants to Die, very positive feedback. Again, I need to check better this game. I wish that they put it a demo here so people can have a sense of what this is. I think this is a Unreal Engine game, a detective kind of with some noir feeling here. But it mixes with some implants. You have to investigate stuff there. Seems very interesting, and people did like this game. And it's at this moment in time 40% off. Then we got Metaphor Refantasio, 30% on the main game. And lastly, we got Baldur's Gate 3. It's still on sale, 20%. Again, game of the year in 2023. So I think it's a must play, especially if you like RPGs like me. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up here for today with a plug on my Patreon for access support. This access support is more aligned for me to try and get better storage solutions so I can have backups for the stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.